Alright, I'm going to try and do a quick little explanation of how I made my Cauldron Creeper. So this is just quick. Hopefully I can give some of you some ideas on how you might want to make one. So I'm going to start with the skeleton. Alright, so let's see. First of all, I basically put, you can't see it, but I put Allthread rod through the feet of the skeleton, which is bent, and it goes down into some PVC that I have screwed into a piece of plywood that sits on the ground. So the rod goes through that PVC, curves up, goes up through the bottom of the leg, top of the leg, and you can actually see the Allthread rod coming out of the leg. I just cut it a little bit longer, and that's in both legs, so that gives a little flex and keeps the skeleton completely upright. I also have a piece of Allthread rod going up through the spine to give it some rigidity. And let's see, so the motor for the head is mounted onto the hips, just a little piece of metal. And this is just a cheap Amazon motor. I think it's a 5 to 6 rotation per minute. I made a little arm for that out of aluminum, a little washer tied to the string, and that is going up, connected to a few eye hooks just to give the fishing line proper channel. And then to get the smooth head movement, it's pretty necessary to have kind of this point, this point that's raised up here for the fishing line. And so I have an aluminum bar going across the shoulders, and then I screwed another eye bolt into that, and that helps the fishing line have that flow to keep the smooth head movement. And then I have, for the head rotation, a piece of PVC, and that's just going and sitting into both shoulder sockets. And then I have a T for the PVC, so with 2 stops on both sides so that it can't go left and right, and that lets the neck freely rotate. And then I just have the skull connected with another eye hook. I have a weight in the jaw so that the jaw opens and closes as it goes up and down. Let's see, I got the left elbow is completely free, connected with zip tie. Left shoulder also completely free, connected with, I think I have a fishing line up there. I have the right shoulder in place with, you can't see it, but I have a bolt in there and a piece of metal so it stays in one place, and that's rigid. I also have the left shoulder, or I'm sorry, the right shoulder in place with another bolt to keep it pointing up like that. The wrists are flexible with zip ties. I have the hands screwed into the stir stick enough that they can freely rotate. And let's see, what else? It's the skeleton. Oh yeah, and to kind of hide all of the hardware on the skeleton, I have this white foam that is moldable, and then it dries hard, and I used that to just kind of cover up the PVC and the eye hook and all the metal so that it just kind of blends in. And honestly, even if I didn't do that, I think when you're standing back, there's so much to look at that you don't even notice unless it's pointed out to you, the mechanisms. It pretty much just looks like there's nothing on there. So that's how I was able to do this without having any clothes on the skeleton or having the hunchback. And then moving on to the pumpkin, pretty much used the Oak Lane Cemetery method for it in there. I have a wiper motor in the bottom and just used some metal strips from Home Depot for the arm, connected a top of a spray can, spray paint bottle with some pink foam and a bearing so that the stick rotates freely. This is a plastic container from Lowe's that's in the inside of the pumpkin, and they sell these kind of little plates that sit about halfway down, which was perfect. So it kind of protects the motor on the bottom. I cut a couple holes in that, put some lights in there. I also have a hole for, let's see, a hole for the fog to come up through. And then with the fog, I have a hose that's running out of there, and that's going into my bin back there, which is what I use to use the ultrasonic mister for my fogger, and that was working great so that I didn't have to use fog juice, and I could have mist coming out of the cauldron on a nightly basis. The only problem that I ran into was the mist created water in that line after about one night, and so then it blocked the flow. So I actually took a blower and blew the excess water out of the pipe. And other than that, it works good. So if I wanted to avoid that, I would just have to create a either a drain or a way for the fogger bin to go into the cauldron, so that any water would just flow back into the bin. So, and then moving on to the pumpkin. The pumpkin is made from Tractor Supply foam blocks, and I have some pictures that I can share. Basically glued them together with grade foam. Used a few different tools to sculpt and form the pumpkin, and burned some of these lines in there with just a hot knife. Spray painted it, added some black and give it some texture. This is all spray foam for the guts. And then the hot coals on the bottom. Pretty simple, straightforward. A lot of tutorials online for this. That is just spray foam, and then threw in some string lights, twinkling string lights in there, put in some fake bones and sticks, spray painted it black, and then just highlighted it with some dry lock to give it the gray. So could be more in-depth tutorial when I take it apart after the season. I can go over it more in depth, but hope that helps some of you that were interested in that. And yeah, happy Halloween. And I got my pumpkin carver over here.